It's Berserk time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Figma number SP82 and the Fix number SP03. It's Slan and Conrad, one of the 5 members of the godhand, the demons that rule the realm of Berserk. And the funny thing is, I only watched Berserk, the anime, for the first time, the 97 version, which you can find on YouTube for free if you look for it. And it turns out the good small European store still had those in stock, even at a small discount. I think it was 20%. But regardless of it, I was like, the timing's perfect. These are some badass characters. I love the Berserk style. It has its own gothic vibe, married kind of Lovecraftian as well. That really sets it apart from everything else. But also, obviously, the fan service aspect of Slan is something that I'm really much into, and Conrad is a big slimy goober. So, what a nice combination of characters. Without further ado, let's have a look at the figures. I had no idea this figure had nips. I thought they censored that stuff, but guess that's gonna make it a little bit harder for me to review it. So, in that regard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below who's your favorite Berserk character, because YouTube might just nuke this video off my channel and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. See, she stands at about 16.5 centimeters, a little over that, to the top of the head, which means we are going up to 6.7 inches. And then for the little slimy guy over here, damn, he looks really gross. But that's the nature of the character. He stands 2.6, 2.7 inches to the top of the head, and there's some of the boils in the back that go maybe a little bit higher. 40 centimeters, that would be close to 6.5, 7 centimeters. And yeah, all of the back. If you want to have those measurements, I give you those as well. About 13 centimeters, and for your inches, finally, we're going up to, that's 4.8. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, the stage figure art Son Goku, Figma Goblin Slayer, Demon Souls, Fluted Armor, Guts, Top 10 Anime Betrayals, and Darkside.
Oh, look in detail of the Queen of Flames, the Goddess of Flames, first and foremost. I mean, it looks amazing. The body sculpt is very sexy and very accurate. Also, there's you can see some of the bones kind of peeking through. She has the big boba and whatnot and the big wings. But let's start off with the face before we have a look at the rest of the detail. Has this really, it's somewhat bored, somewhat supposed to be seductive face. Whatever it is, it looks good. There's no, issues with the paint. Eyes are a little bit more shiny. The entire hair sculpt, well, hair, it's supposed to be appendages, like tentacles just growing out of her head. It's all soft plastic. I don't know about that one, Chief. Maybe it would have been nice with a little bit of shading. I mean, I like the color of it. It's all fairly muted colors, but that's the style of Berserk. So we're gonna stick with that. And, there's a lot more spaghetti in the back. And speaking of back, let's keep that for later. But the little clothing that she has is all shiny plastic and has some detail in it. It's removable, it's floaty, so if you take the head off, you can take this, also the choke off if you want to. But why would you do that? I think it looks very nice. It looks very leathery. Obviously, that was the idea. And then there's the boobs. Again, there's nips under there, and I'm afraid to show them. Apologies, guys, but you know what? I'm just going to upload some pictures on Twitter, because there's not really anything that will happen there. But with the YouTube channel, I'm not willing to take the risk, but let's just say there's nipples under there. The boobs are very nicely painted, very nicely molded. And the only thing, as you can tell, that really sticks out like a sore thumb are the joints. As much as I like the color on the skin, like the nice pale skin tone that she has and she's supposed to have, I really would have liked for them to find joints that line up a little bit better, because this is a little bit of an embarrassment, I'm gonna be honest. But moving down to the leather corset she has going on over there. and the large, very large hips. Let me spin it around real quick to see, have a look at from the back. And while I'm here, well, I wanted to have a look at the corset first. Nice and shiny, but yeah, boom. Butt mold, very nice butt mold also, nothing hindering it. A lot of line work. I love that she has like 2 butts basically. Well, once you move it too far ahead, the butt mold kind of falls apart. But you can still get it in some decent poses without having like a split up butt. And the joints in the legs are also a little bit wobbly, and I really wish the joints for the wings would be a little bit tighter, because again, stuff's just a little bit too floppy and a little bit messy to play around with. But speaking of the wings, let me just zoom out real quick to give you a good look at everything that's going on. We have ball joints in the back and then one for each part over here, so it's segmented into 3, and it's nice and shiny. And I don't know how well you can see that on the camera. There's also some purple under there. So they painted it some purple with some spots, and then they put it into this glossy finish, really to bring out the, well, for the clothing it's supposed to be leathery, but I guess for the wings it's supposed to be a little bit more slimy, I don't know. And then you have the simple parts over here, which aren't glossy, it stands out in a good way, I feel like. Also nicely painted over there. Looks like worms. Looks like a worm in the wings. But yeah, I mean, overall, the wings are really cool looking, but design-wise, I think it's really weird. And I don't know about the articulation of it, because, well, we have a look at the articulation, but it's kind of hard to pose her just standing on the ground and then do something with the wings, especially since the wings, the way they are, like, just spreading them out doesn't really do anything. But that's more the design of the character, so I don't really knock it. Don't want to knock it too much for it. I just, you know, playability isn't the greatest because of that. And then we have Conrad. Conrad is a fix, and he can't move, only his head, which is another little bit of a disappointment. But, I mean, I'm going to have an articulation of Slan in just a second. I'm just going to cover with this guy. You have the head, which, you know, you can rotate that around, and maybe a little bit of side to side. That's about it. There's nothing in the hands, not even the tentacles that swivels or on ball joints. That's like really disappointing. You know, tiny teensy bit, because this figure isn't cheap. Anyway, the guy himself, he has a big weird face that he makes. Has a lovely bit of shading on there. You know, something like that would have been cool in the hair. But anyway, also he has a quite veiny neck. He looks a little bit like a, you know, especially with the veiny neck, I don't know. So then we have a lot more of glossy finish also going on throughout the back of it. There's some more worms in there, and those big balls, and some kind of like a little bit bat symbols, weirdly enough. And then we have the tentacles on the side, which are also quite veiny, so, you know, you make up whatever you want with that. But the figure looks good. Even though it's just like a static, slimy worm, but, you know, it does the trick. What else do you want to do with that? Adding articulation to this thing wouldn't really accomplish anything, so I'm fine with him just being a very well done fix. Now for the articulation, it's not the greatest. First and foremost, you have the ball hinge that packs into the back of the head, which is weird. So you can bring it back and forth a little bit. You can tilt it side to side. It also likes to disconnect, and it would go all the way around, but it's really quite stuck in there. Now, for the shoulders, also, I mean, this is an old school Figma, and they just re-released it, so I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah. So we do have the ball hinge, I mentioned it now, do have the ball hinge in there, can bring that up, but not too far because the shoulder is just blocking it. So you only bring it up and you can rotate it, and there doesn't seem to be a double ball combination in there. Like, I don't see anything, it seems like a pack. Then we have regular ball hinge in the elbow, you can bring that up and down, and this one can also be rotated, just be careful not to break it off. Always line it up correctly when you move it around, and then you have another ball hinge in the hand. That's standard stuff. At least we had the ball hinges, because some of the old Figmas only had a pack into a hinge. Then for the chest area, I don't know how I'm going to do that. We do have some back and forward motion, but that's like more on the lower half, as you can tell, covered up by the corset. You can bring that back and forth quite nicely, hump it side to side, And swivels quite nicely. We do have a belly button under there. Swivels pretty much all the way. Then for the legs, moves forward, still have a nice butt mold in there. Moves out to the side, not really that much because this is hard plastic. Didn't do the soft plastic, so outwards doesn't really work, and then the leg just disconnects on the other side. That's not a here nor there, but you know, it's a classic stuff. And then move to the back, also not really that great. Can swivel it, also not even that much. Like, I get what they were doing, they really tried to close it up, not leave any ugly gaps, but, you know, if you want articulation, this is not a great figure. I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. But other than that, you know, just, she doesn't really do, like, crazy ninja poses or whatnot in the show or manga anyway. So, anyway, we do have the knee, move that back and forth, quite simple, and then the foot is also on a ball hinge, can bring that back and forth all the way, doesn't get hindered by anything, and then you can swivel it side to side, and I guess you could also rotate the ball hinge in there, so you also have like a regular swivel on the foot. And finally for the wings, those are packed in the back by ball hinges. It's a pack, then it ends on a ball hinge, and then you have another ball pack on there. So first and foremost, the ball packs that are on the wings are kind of wobbly. As you can tell, let's see. Easily move it up and it kind of falls down immediately. So it doesn't really hold all the madness that's going on. Also the ball hinge in there, it's just kind of useless. Isn't as tight as it should be. And then we have another one, same connection for all of them. So you have the ball hinge that goes into the ball hinge that goes into the ball. Let me see what you can get out of that. Can move that out. Can move it up and out to the side. And then for the other one, ball hinge into the ball. This one is a little bit more lenient because it's smaller. You can quite bring them up, but it doesn't really accomplish anything. So, I mean, what would have been better? Maybe just like the one ball hinge, make it a little bit more stable. I'm not sure about it, but this one doesn't work so well, I feel. For your accessories, we have hands. We have holding hands, even though she doesn't really have anything to hold. This is also like a big grip, so you make out of that whatever you want. Then we have fist hands, open hands, and claw hands. One just fell off while claw is like a little bit folded. I guess claw is a little bit over the top. Then we have faces. We have like one where she's sticking out the tongue, and the other one where it's just kind of like I don't even know what kind of emotion the other one's supposed to convey. Then we have the figma base. That's like classic. With every figma ever, you get this base. And then I also have the figma back. And that's it. Final thoughts! So first and foremost, this figure looks great. I love the skin tone, I love the glossy wings, I love what they did with it, the entire mold, and also, you know, Conrad. Let's not forget about Conrad, he's also here. I know I didn't talk a lot about him, but, you know, he's also hollow, but anyway, Conrad's fine. The figure looks great, but I feel like it kind of fails as an articulated figure. It's really annoying to fumble around, especially with the wings. I think the connection could be a lot tighter. Really putting her into pose and putting the wings around it in a good way is not fun. It's possible, but it's not fun because it has a lot of floppy bits. Same goes for the legs. Connection could be a lot tighter. And as you can see, like, some of the articulation points are really limited. Finally, there's not really that many accessories, but the accessories that are there are really much appreciated, like the face with the tongue out. And, you know, truth be told, there's not really supposed to be much more accessories for her. You know, other than that, I guess he's an accessory, so. But then again, I double checked, I paid $120 for the figure and then shipping and whatnot. But let's just keep it at that. I still think that's pretty expensive. You know, a lot of new Figmas also cost like up to 100, but I don't know, considering how this figure is just a naked chick with wings. Very well executed in the look department, but not so much in the articulation department. It's quite a hefty price. So this is a rare piece. This is a really sought after piece because, you know, cult following of Berserk. It does look good, but I'm still kind of disappointed in like how floppy the articulation points is. So, have recommended. Sounds like fence sitting, but really it's just like depends on what you value the most in a figure. And after all, this is an articulated figure. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Slan and Conrad want.